Well, kudos to you for drinking first and looking at labels second, because that's important. People can have a preconceived notion of this is just too hot, and I've had discussions with a lot of people, but it's not Chianti. It's Lodi, and to get the grapes to have the maximum flavor, which means they get the wine to have the maximum flavor and mouthfeel and color and all the other things we associate with quality wine. Here, in the way Macchia makes wines, we feel that the extra hang times is a benefit, and it outweighs some of the early picking decisions, which would lower your alcohol level.
Sure, sure. It's it's easy to say, oh, you should make wines with lower alcohol, and some winemakers are able to craft a wine that has lower alcohol that performs very well. But ultimately, you're in a place where you have a lot of sun, you have a lot of it's heat accumulation instead of heat spikes, evidently. Right. But so your fruit is going to get ripe. There's a little question. Again, people think that Lodi is a hot region, but most people I've spoken to have said it's really not hot in the sense that it gets really hot. It's just warm for a long period of time, and you get you get the sugar accumulation because the grapes are really thriving in this climate. So if you could talk a little bit about the climate and how it's warm and not hot.
I think one of the distinguishing things is the nighttime temperatures. Because we're next to the delta, as I talked about earlier, we'll get our nighttime temperatures drop into the 50s very often during the growing season. So that kind of retains the acidity and the freshness in the wines. And then, but the delta effect also moderates the highs. So we often, especially on the west side, you don't see as large of a diurnal temperature swing as you see on some of the other sides. So it manifests itself in the wines in a very kind of plush fruitiness that really appeals to a lot of customers, and it comes with ripeness so you get the higher alcohols, but it often doesn't show because there's a lot of fruit there that's just balancing it all out.
And I think even if you looked at the classic Chianti wines, when they declare some of their best vintages, typically they are the warmer vintages where the fruit actually gets riper than, say, it normally would in an average year there.
Sure.
So, it's probably a good thing for them as well.
One thing that I've noticed tasting the wines this year, tasting the wines over the past several years, it seems like the winemaking has changed as well. It seems like there was an effort in the past. There might have been a mindset. We have really ripe fruit. We can make really big wines. Let's extract them. Let's make the powerhouse wines. And the wines that I've been tasting this week in particular show a lot more finesse than the wines that...
I think one of the challenges is that often California and Lodi gets pigeonholed into one style because what may be more readily available out in the market is a wine of that style. And what you've been able to see here is this huge diversity of wines that are being made and grown that unfortunately right now are on the shelf in New York. And so the winemaking style is evolving, but there's a lot of things out there that just, reflect the diverse styles of winemakers in the area.
Yeah.